UFU members face an important decision in coming days and weeks. You'll be voting on an enterprise agreement that will cover your employment conditions through to middle 2026. That's if you voted up. And what this video is about is urging you to look at this proposal very closely, understand it fully, and vote according to what you think is right. Importantly, the government goes into caretaker mode on the 13th of September. This is a thing that happens when the government is heading towards an election, which takes place in October. What it means is they can't make any major commitments or commit a future government to any major expenditure. In practical terms, what that means is that if we don't put an agreement out to ballot before the 13th of September, we don't know when it will go to ballot, and we can't, in conscience, deny the members the opportunity to vote on pay rises as soon as possible. So on balance, we think there's enough information available for members to make a choice, difficult as that is. We really want you to get across the details of the proposed agreement. The best way to do that is to read the explanatory statement, which you'll get in your email boxes on the 11th of September. If you've got time, read the draft agreement itself while you've got the explanatory statement. It's very detailed, but if you're going to read one of those documents, read the statement. You'll get access to the agreement and the explanatory statement on the 11th of September. The ballot, that is when you vote, opens on the 20th of September and it closes on the 30th of September. I'm not going to go over the details of the agreement now. You really need to read that explanatory statement. Now, the agreement provides for some pay increases, and they're the core pay increases applicable to fire and rescue, and you should have them in front of you. 1.5% from June 2024, 1% from December 2024, plus a $1,500 flat rate increase, another % from June 2025, another % from December 25, and another flat rate increase. There are allowance increases on the same dates. There is a one-off cost of living payment of $1,250. That's payable on approval of the agreement. There are also superannuation increases to 11.5%, 12% and 12.5% in January 2026. The agreement also provides for the EMR allowance, and you should know that we got this arbitrated. There are two components to it. One is the EMR allowance that every firefighter will get, and the other is the trainer allowance. Those rates are in front of you as well. There is back pay on offer to the 4th of August 2020 of $40.50 per fortnight, which is about $4,350 as at today's date. And with the allowance itself, it'll be just over $2,500 a year by the end of the agreement for every firefighter. Now, there's some things that will have people wanting to vote for the agreement. But we need to let you know that there are some things in it that will make some members not want to vote for it. And that is a restriction on 24-hour shifts. The clause that's been put to us in front of you now says that they should not be part of any ongoing roster arrangement, that firefighters should not work more than 18 hours consecutively, and if you're retained for duty to maintain minimum staffing, fatigue has to be managed by the relevant commander. Modified duties to ensure fatigue on shift is minimised can be put in place. And the overriding principle is that unnecessary or non-urgent duties would be rescheduled. Now, this is an important issue for everyone to consider. Think about it carefully and how it affects you. It's worth noting that this claim from the employer was a counterclaim to the claims of the self-appointed bargaining representatives. The UFU has not agreed to this claim. What happens if the agreement is voted down? Well, it means that we stop negotiations We recommence those negotiations when a new government is sworn in and a new minister is appointed. That could be as late as January next year. We can't predict the outcome of who will be the new government or the new minister. While those negotiations go on, there would not be any pay rises, there would not be an EMR allowance or any EMR back pay until a new agreement is approved. And that probably wouldn't happen before July 2025. It follows that there'd be no additional crewing or new conditions of employment until the new agreement. There's also a risk that a change of government might favour some of the claims being advanced by the self-appointed bargaining representatives. I won't go into that now. There's another video that deals with all of that in a great degree of detail. But those claims from those representatives would be back on the table. And some of those claims would lead to reduced conditions if they were agreed to. Ultimately, we would be back in costly and time-consuming activities, particularly if litigation was necessary or if a campaign was necessary to get the government to agree to whatever we were seeking at that time. So it's really a decision for you. And the choice before members is between some gains and some possible losses. The gains are the back pay plus the EMR allowance paid by early 2025, the core pay increases through to the end of 2025, some new conditions, some increased crewing straight away in ComSen, so an additional firefighter, and later an additional commander for span of control and also in terms of management of the room. There would be some losses. These are perceived as losses by members who rely on them. So you need to understand that it's positives and negatives. Access to 24-hour shifts through changes of shift and overtime would pretty much disappear. And there would be a softened commitment to Molonglo Fire Station. That is, the truck wouldn't get on the road until the fire station's finished. Now, we're not very happy about that, but that's the position that's put to us. So this is a really important decision for the membership. We think that members need to have a genuine vote based on the judgment of individual members about how they perceive the advantages and disadvantages of the draft agreement. As I said, read the statement, ask questions, vote according to your conscience.